Oh goodness, what a night at the Emirates. And first of all, a very Merry Christmas to all of you and your family, and hope you're all well, enjoying the festive period and having a much deserved rest as well. And hope that this Christmas brings everything for you and your family that you deserve. I took a couple of days away, but I'm back at home now. And what a night at the Emirates. I wasn't sure I was going to be able to make that game. My flight arrived in the afternoon, and I thought, well, I still needed to get the family home. And then see whether there was a chance to get back to the Emirates. And yes, I was able to do that. I was a little bit late for the game, but I was trying to catch it up on the phone while I was on my way to the Emirates. But what a performance, at Arsenal. It was a cup game. It was a nervy performance. It was a cold night, and it's kind of cup football, right? It's uncomfortable, and I know that everyone will want, cup games to be very straightforward. We go beat the opposition, 3-0, 3-0, 4-0, whatever. But that's why it's a cup game. Um, Cup games can be unpredictable. That's why you have giant killers, in cup games. And, Crystal Palace came to Arsenal with the same determination that they've done in the past. Arsenal dominated this game in the first half, but Crystal Palace refused to fold, and Benitez probably had the game of his life, at that Palace, um, goal. And and again went the distance, 1-1 at 90 minutes, and then penalties, and then Kepa stood up. And boy, did he stand up. Listen, I'm going to go into that. Arsenal are into the semi-finals, in top of the league, top of the Champions League. But the performance tells the deeper story, and I'm going to go deep into that. So hang on with me here, and let's do this properly. Let's get into it. Okay, so it's a three ups and three downs, and don't forget to hit that like and subscribe button, and share this with as many Arsenal fans as possible. If you continue to enjoy this, we're gonna start off with our first up in this game, and that is William Saliba. He ran this game absolutely brilliant. Um, I mean, let's start where this game was truly controlled. It was a leader's performance. He was a Rolls Royce of a player in this game. Many times I turned to my friend TJ, who was at the game as well, and just say, Saliba is, he was just incredible. If you look at the stats, also the stats actually back that up. He had 97 touches, most of any player on the pitch. He had a 91.2% pass completion out of 83 out of 91. That's elite for a center back, even in a high line, system. Multiple crucial interventions, including that last dish tackle on Mateta, and two defensive actions inside the box later on, and he really controlled the territory. He stepped out, progressed the play, and constantly reset Arsenal's structure when Palace tried to disrupt the rhythm. And yes, the late free kick that led to Gue's equalizer came from a moment Arsenal should have managed better, and maybe Saliba would have managed better. And I'm sure, he would know that. But that shouldn't distract from what a performance he had on the night. He didn't hide, he stepped up, took his penalty, and boy, there were some great penalties over there. It just seemed like both goalkeepers were, powerless to stop the shots going in. I don't give credit to Crystal Palace. They had some good penalties as well. This was a game of authority with Saliba, and it's the reason why we missed him so much. Cannot wait for his partnership back with Gabriel. I think they are both, without a shadow of a doubt, the two best central defenders in the Premier League. Okay, second up for me, we had control through rotation. When I previewed this game, I talked about the decisions that Mikel Arteta will need to make in terms of who starts this game, and I'm glad that he rotated the squad. I wanted to see Moni Madueke, Gabriel Jesus, and Martinelli, and he truly delivered. I wanted to see Miles Lewis Kelly. I didn't want to see Odegaard Rice and Zubimendi, and he did that too as well, with Norgard playing. And I'm going to talk about Norgard as well, because even with the rotation, we still control large phases of this game, especially in the first half. And Christian Norgard, like I said, deserved a special mention. His raw numbers don't scream dominance, but I think this role mattered in terms of what he did on the pitch. You look at his stats, for up to 87 touches, level with Lewis Kelly. He had 3 tackles with a 66.7 success ratio, and 1 interception, 1 chance creation. I mean, I'm not saying that he had passed Saliba or, he did. He got more touches than Lewis Kelly, but he broke Palace transitions, and a lot of the times he was first to the headers, especially in that middle of the park, getting the ball to an Arsenal player. I think he protected the back line quite well. Merino and Eze, were able to push forward, especially in that, first half. And we sustained a lot of pressure without panicking. It didn't look like a chaotic performance. TJ, shout out to TJ. We was always saying that, Norgard was just so calm, composed, on the ball, throughout that game. And I think he deserves minutes based on these showings. I would love to see Norgard play a little bit more. I think as we start to get into that chaotic business end of the season, I think there are a number of players that are staking their claim, for being trusted by Mikel Arteta. And Norgard, I think, is one of them. I think he can be a trusted, controller in games where we have to rotate. We don't have to worry about, whether we sticking him. And I wouldn't mind sticking him in even in a Premier League game. Let's not forget he was the Brentford captain, as well. So Noga did very, very well, as well the rest of the guys. Martinelli, I've got to mention, he had his player on toast on that, left hand side, right hand side of Crystal Palace. He was getting past him. Martinelli played very well. And, I've always said that he's a big game player for us. Today, he showed a player that was really invigorated. And he showed great form, as well. And he made some absolutely, key chances. Just a shame that we couldn't take care of a couple of those. But Martinelli deserves a mention in this game as well. Okay, third up for me, guys, it was Kepa. Listen, penalties decide cup football. And Arsenal were outstanding. We're calm, composed, no drama, talking the ball in. And we're joking, me and TJ at the game, I was saying, will any keeper, actually save anything, in this game? Because they just kept sending the keeper the wrong way. Excellent penalties from everyone in the Arsenal. And then I was like, okay, what is Kepa doing? He's not doing anything. Yeah, what's the point? Because when the penalty started, I kind of said, well, Kepa should be good, in penalty situation. I thought he was, his days from Chelsea. But he just didn't save anything, but Kepa saved the best for the last, right? And that save from Lacroix, it was timely, and sometimes timing on when you make saves is really, really important. Now I don't think that he planned to make the last save after Arsenal had scored, but it was a welcome save, and that threw the crowd into absolute delirium. If you just look here, I captured a few videos of the crowd, and me just screaming, after Kepa, saved that. Everyone was in joyous mood. And it was good. and it was the perfect way to round up, the the part of the year just before Christmas and send Arsenal fans very, very happy as we celebrate Christmas tomorrow. Okay, we always do our three downs, in this podcast. And, it's not because we want to be negative or anything like that, but there's always, things that we can do better, improve, if we want to go ahead and achieve what we have set to do this season. And the first down for me, guys, this should have been over at halftime. Honestly, it should have. Arsenal should not have been here. We didn't need to go into penalties. Martinelli was excellent. Like I said, Jesus worked tirelessly. Madueke stretched Palace when he had the opportunity, and Eze was in the game. But yet, Benitez was phenomenal. I don't know what it is about keepers when they come to play at the Emirates and they just decide that they want to have their best, games, against us. We had high quality chances, and we should have scored. We had chances upon chances, but no killer blow. And that's the thing, right? In cup football, leaving a team alive is dangerous. And I don't care where that team is. It might be a Premier League team, Champions League team, or a League One team. When you keep them alive in cup competitions, you give belief. And look, it's football. 11 men on the pitch. The other 11 men are also professionals as well. So, they're going to have a moment. And boy, the Crystal Palace have that moment. That takes me to down number 2, the late game management. I mean, that equalizer didn't come from a dominant performance from Crystal Palace. Crystal Palace got better in the second half. Fair play to them. But they had a series, of constant getting the ball into the box, and you just had that uneasy feeling, that something was up in the air. A late free kick came in box, not fully reset. Second ball chaos. Um, it was just concentration. It was concentration. And these moments matter more as competition sight. And so we've got some, tough games, especially in this cup. In order to get to the final, we've got to get past Chelsea. And that's going to be a tough game, but more on that. Okay, so third down for me. I think I like the selection. Let's be clear. The attacking fluidity for me could have been a lot better, because there were moments when we didn't really sync our pressing triggers. And I know that Martin Odegaard typically sets this in terms of when we press for the ball. The final third combination was very rusty. It just felt like we missed half a beat, when we were getting into the final third. And Jesus, drifted, without enough runners attacking in the box. And I guess that's the cost of rotation, playing players who have not traditionally played together before. So, I mean, it's acceptable, I guess, in the context of where things are. But you don't want something that bleeds into the league game. So, guys, let's zoom out, a little bit as we look back at our Arsenal, performance. We're top of the league, into the Carabao semifinals, top of the Champions League, and we were able to manage rotation as well. There was a slight, worry with Martinelli, going out. So I'm hoping that it's nothing too serious. Listen, we could have done without the, penalties, because penalties are a lottery. But at the same time, so delighted that Arsenal survived that and are into the next round. So, guys, what's your verdict? Let me hear from you. Did you like the selection, first of all? Who impressed you more? I think for me, a man of the match was Saliba, and then honorable mentions to Martinelli and also to Norgard. But should Norgard be playing more minutes? I think that he should. Drop your thoughts, below, and don't forget, enjoy the festive football. We've got a tough game against Brighton, so I'll be previewing that game shortly. So check out the channel for that. And as well, check out our previous videos, especially on the Everton post-game reaction, the 3 ups and the 3 downs. And guys, enjoy Christmas with the family. I'll certainly be doing that. I wish you all a Merry Christmas, and thank you for all of you that keep watching the channel. Appreciate you as well. Together we're building something here, and I'll see you all at the next preview.